In today's episode, we're reading some more fun Reddit stories, and I'm so ready for this and so excited for this, and I hope you guys are too. Having a beautiful day today, and I hope you guys are too. And before we do start the video, if you could like the video and subscribe if you want to, that would be amazing. And let's get straight into it. Story number 1. Am I the a-hole for not letting my friends use my backyard for their wedding because they don't want me to bring a +1? Here's the situation. Last summer, I bought my grandparents' house. This house was the hangout spot for my friends and I during our childhood. This includes my friend Dave. The house has a sizable amount of land, which includes a lake and a gazebo. I was supposed to buy the house with my now ex-girlfriend Leslie, but going through the process of getting approved to buy, I found out that she has massive amounts of credit card and personal debt that she hid from me during our 4 years together. I decided to break up as a result. That was about 6 months ago. I met Leslie because Dave's long-term girlfriend Kim is Leslie's cousin. Dave and Kim are engaged and they're set to get married in April. When I was buying the house, they asked if they could have the ceremony at the gazebo, which I agreed to. In December, I started dating again. Leslie has not taken this well at all. She thinks that we're going to get back together and has tried multiple times to make it happen. I've told her in no uncertain terms that it isn't happening. Dave and Kim have asked me to not bring a +1 to the wedding for Leslie's sake. I've told them that that request is ridiculous. This wedding is happening at my house using my land, and I'm not allowed to bring a date because of a crazy ex? If that's the case, then they need to find a new venue for the wedding. They're pissed about this given the short time frame of when the wedding is supposed to happen, so we're at an impasse. Am I the a-hole? Edit, I have seen a few things brought up a number of times in the comments, so I'll quickly address them here. Number 1, I am fully aware of the liability issues, which is why I purchased and they reimbursed me for a special event insurance policy, and that'll provide 100% cover for any damages or claims or injuries to any of the property or persons up to $2 million. It's one of the first things we did after I agreed to have the event in my home. And number 2, the wedding will have a maximum, if everybody comes, of 75 people coming, 5 catering staff and 5 security. The security is because it's an open area that anybody walking past can access. The house has hosted events twice the size, and logistically it has been fine. On the property are 2 cottages, one with 1 bathroom and the other with 2 bathrooms. The only portion of my house that won't be locked during the wedding is the finished basement. The basement has 2 bathrooms. Every person who's single, i.e. not in an established relationship, received an invitation with a +1, including me and Leslie. This talk came after I sent in my return card and indicated that I was bringing a +1. Now they're saying that they don't want me to have the +1 because Leslie blew up about it and they're afraid of a blow up at the wedding. And number 4, Leslie indicated she intends to bring somebody on her card. I don't know if she'll actually bring somebody. The top comment says they want to tell you who you can have at your own home and they think it's fine. They're nuts. The comment below that one says if they want to dictate the guest rules, they should pay for a venue. He's being generous and they're being entitled. And the one below that says yeah, he's offering them a free wedding venue and they're trying to control his personal life in return. That's not how favors work. The second top comment says pull an Uno reverse. Tell them Leslie isn't allowed on your property and watch their heads explode. OP said the petty part of me did absolutely consider saying, well, Leslie can't come to my home or my land, so it shouldn't be a problem. This comment says funny, isn't it? They want to own the backyard for 1 day without paying, and they want to make conditions on the owner itself. This comment says this is bonkers. I had a cousin that wanted to use my dad's cottage for her baby shower. Not the same, I know, but some similarities to the dynamic here. And she told my family that we had to tear down the shed on the property. Needless to say, we politely declined. And guess what? She still begged to use it despite everything. The difference was nobody felt cool with it at that point, so the kibosh was put on the whole thing. Not the a-hole, it's kooky behavior, or cocky behavior. Take care of your home. And moving on to post number 2. Am I the a-hole for leaving my own birthday dinner because my girlfriend turned it into a proposal for herself? I, 28 male, had my birthday dinner last weekend, and my girlfriend Sarah, 27 female, offered to plan it. I was excited because I usually keep things pretty low-key, but she said that she wanted to make it special. She booked a nice restaurant and invited close friends and family. Everything was going great until it was time for dessert. The waiter brought out a cake, but instead of my name, it said, "Will you marry me, Sarah?" I was completely blindsided. Sarah got all teary-eyed, turned to me and said, "Well, this is the best surprise ever, right?" Everybody around us started clapping and her friends were filming. I just sat there stunned. She took my silence as hesitation and started going on about how she knew that I wasn't big on grand gestures, but she couldn't wait anymore, so she took matters into her own hands. At that moment, I stood up and said, "This is my birthday. If you wanted a proposal, you should have talked to me about it first." And then I grabbed my stuff and I walked out. Sarah was mortified and her friends blew up my phone, calling me an a-hole for embarrassing her and ruining the night. She even said that I humiliated her when she was only trying to do something romantic. Now my family are split. Some say that I should have gone along with it for the night, while others think that she crossed a major boundary. So, am I the a-hole for leaving my own birthday dinner because my girlfriend hijacked it for a proposal. That's the most made up story that I feel like I've ever read. Either that, or it's the most ridiculous thing ever. Like, there's no way that was real. Now my family's split. No, they're not. How would somebody be split about this? And her friends are blowing up my phone, calling me an a-hole and saying that I embarrassed her. There's no way this is real. It's either completely made up, or it did happen and it just sounds really made up. The top comment says she didn't just turn it into a proposal. She turned it into a proposal where she proposed to herself on your behalf. That's not rational behavior in the least. If she wanted to propose, she could have proposed to you from as herself to you. But no, she wanted the public moment of her being proposed to and decided that your birthday was the perfect time for her to give this to herself. She was trying to do something romantic, but you weren't the intended recipient. She was. It was nice of her to show you what she values, because it definitely isn't you. You're a prop for her, and at least now you know that for sure. Absolutely positively not the a-hole. The comment below that says, I guess the gift that she gave you was to show you her true colors, not the a-hole, and you might be dodging a bullet there. And the comment below that says, my family is split. AI strikes again. And the comment below that says, blew up my phone too. And the comment below that says, split, divided, phone blowing up, keep the peace, be the bigger person, I ruined the night. Basically, any story that involves multiple people and the OP has been wronged by nearly any standard, yet says that people are divided, is BS. Yeah, not always, but even I felt like this one didn't sound real. And I'm normally not very good at picking up on stuff like that. Like, yeah, totally might have happened, but it sounded so made up. The comment below that says, not the a-hole. So your family thinks that you should just go along with this, meaning that you're now engaged? What's wrong with them? And the comment below that one says, rage bait isn't even trying to disguise itself anymore. Yeah, I don't know. I'm usually not very good on picking up if something doesn't sound real, but even that one seemed a little bit made up to me. Sorry if it is real, and if it is real, of course not the a-hole. Okay, moving on to post number 3. Am I the a-hole? I told my fiance that I would not take care of an English bulldog if we got one. My fiance's always been around bulldogs. They were his childhood pets, and naturally he absolutely loves them. Some of his close family members are part of the National Kennel Club. They show them in dog shows and breed them, all registered with proper testing. Very much not backyard breeders. In the event we would own a bulldog, we'd probably receive a top-of-the-line bred dog with a championship-winning bloodline. I'm not a huge dog person to begin with, but I especially am not a fan of this breed. I don't like them for a variety of reasons, which I'll list below, but my main protest is that due to our work situation, I'd be responsible for 90% of its care. I'm 100% prepared to take care of and love a family pet. However, I've made it clear that I don't want a bulldog, and I'm not willing to provide the extensive level of daily care they require. To provide background as to why I don't like and don't want a bulldog, I don't think they're an ethical dog breed. I don't support their breeding. I don't want to contribute to that market, nor do I want to own such a controversial breed. The extensive health issues and potential for super high vet bills. He argues that their breeding is perfectly healthy. However, I strongly disagree. We also plan to move to a hot climate within 5 to 10 years, which is not really compatible with a bulldog due to their heat sensitivity. High maintenance daily cleaning of their skin folds, their ears and tails would be my responsibility, and to be honest, I'm not down for that. They're not an active dog. I want a dog I can take hiking or on adventures, not a dog that can't handle a 45-minute walk. I'm not a fan of their personalities. Their hair is so coarse it makes me itchy all over, irritates my nose and eyes, and it sticks to everything. The snoring and the snarling noises. I'm a light sleeper. The reason I'm posting is because my fiance and I frequently disagree on this topic. Today I told him that with him working away and long hours while I'm at home all the time, it wouldn't be fair to me or the dog for us to own one, because I'm not willing to provide such extensive daily care. I understand and respect that he loves them, but I genuinely don't want the burden of responsibility shoved onto me, just so that he can own the dog breed that he had as a kid. I feel like I could be the a-hole since I'm pretty much telling him that I wouldn't take care of an innocent animal, and that's obviously not right. However, I also feel like I might not be the a-hole because this right now is all hypothetical, since we don't own one, and I'm only trying to convey the point that we shouldn't own one. The top comment says, not the a-hole. You're saying I don't want a bulldog because of a comprehensive list of reasons. He's saying, I want a bulldog because bulldog. You should win this one even if you weren't doing all the work. The comment below that one says, not the a-hole, and not only for the reasons you said as to why it's a problematic breed, but because couples need to be on the same page when it comes to pets, and there absolutely are lots of other options out there. You're not saying that you don't want any dog at all. You're open to a variety of them. He's only open to one type, which is not a reasonable position. And the comment below that one says, today I told him that with him working away and for long hours while I'm at home all the time, it wouldn't be fair to me or the dog for us to own one, because I'm not willing to provide such extensive daily care. This right here is the end of the conversation. Kind of animal or breed be damned. He's not home, so no. Case closed. He wants the dog. dog, get a new job, preferably a work from home job. Yeah, definitely a not the a-hole consensus. And moving on to post number 4, am I the a-hole for calling out my aunt for lying about having a condition that I actually struggle with? So some background, this aunt has a habit of copying everything anybody does and treats it like a competition. This also applies to illnesses. You mention getting ill, she's sick a day later and she always feels worse than you, then acts like she never even knew that you were sick. 6 months ago, I was diagnosed with an autoimmune disease that doctors think I've been dealing with for years. The only reason they found it is because it very quickly got worse and it's ruined my life. It won't shorten it, but I'm in so much pain that I can't even walk to the store that's right next to my flat without feeling extreme pain and discomfort. My sleep's awful, my social life has become non-existent unless people come to my place, and there's no cure for it. I'm on specific targeted medications to try to stop it from getting worse. The best that we can do is pain management at this point, and I'm on the strongest painkillers I can have, but it's still bad. When I was first diagnosed, I posted about it on my Facebook, not in detail, just said what I had. The only person who knows the details is my mum. Yesterday, mum picked me up so I could visit my nan. While we were there, my aunt turned up. We were talking about random stuff at first, but then she mentioned that she went to the doctors and they diagnosed her with the condition that I have, and they think that she's had it for years. I thought she was lying, so I asked her some questions regarding it, and every answer was BS. She claimed that she told a doctor her symptoms and that's how they found it, when you need blood work done to find it. She claimed that they were looking into different procedures to cure it, which again, no cure. When I asked her what med she was on, she said that there wasn't any they could prescribe for it, and she had paracetamol to deal with the terrible pain that she was in. She then went on about how it's affecting her life. It's made things difficult for her, yet she does martial arts 3 times a week and goes clubbing every weekend like she's a teenager, and posts about it on Facebook. I lost it. I went off about how full of it she was and that pretending to have something so serious when I was actually dealing with it was pathetic attention-seeking behavior. I pointed out everything she said that proved that she was lying about it, and said the only medical help she needed was for her head, as she clearly had issues. She tried to double down and say that she never knew I had it. She saw my Facebook post. She thought that I'd be more sympathetic because I know what she's going through. At this point, I was so mad that my mum drove me home. My aunt then later posted on Facebook about her struggles and how some people just aren't sympathetic about the condition. I called her out in the comments of the post and I mentioned what had happened earlier in the day, and a load of other families started calling her out for it too, so she quickly deleted the post. However, my cousin, her daughter, is now calling me the a-hole, as my auntie's upset that I called her out. So am I? The top comment says not the a-hole. She's using something that you struggle with to benefit for her own personal gain. You aren't wrong for calling it out. I would say maybe out of respect you could have done it in private and made it aware how you don't appreciate her talking about an experience that she has no idea about. She can definitely victimize herself, but you did the right thing. You're not the a-hole. The response to that one says OP did call aunt out in private first, which was ignored, and then the aunt upped the ante by posting publicly. A public response is reasonable and necessary in my opinion to keep her from taking advantage of family members. Yeah, you did call her out on it in private. By the sounds of it, you didn't have a private one-on-one conversation with her, but by the sounds of it, it probably wouldn't have even helped anyway. The second top comment says not the a-hole. I'm sorry that you're going through this and your attention-seeking aunt is trying to one-up you by lying about a serious illness. Grey rocker. Don't allow her or her daughter access to your social media and stop communicating with her beyond general pleasantries. Tell your mother to stop feeding her information too. Aunt can't copy what she doesn't know about. And OP said mum never feeds her info. She's also been a victim of my aunt claiming to have something that she has. Mum was diagnosed with severe asthma as a teenager. Now my aunt says it's always been her that's been diagnosed with it, even though my nan has said that it was always my mum. Mum avoids her as much as possible and never talks to her unless she has to. The comment below that one says, I hate people that do this. I'd strongly consider blocking her and her daughter on social media and seeing them as little as possible. Not the a-hole. And OP said, to be honest, I already thought I had her blocked, especially because she's also the type to try and one-up in activities as well. This is not the first time she's tried it with me, but before it was only trying to copy my skills in art. I literally posted something I handcrafted months after I'd done it. She, in the comments of that post, then posted almost an exact copy in forms of subject matter, just a much lower quality. Yeah, the comment below that, get a fake really bad tattoo or post somebody else's. Yeah, 100%. Like, wow, check out my new amazing tattoo. Maybe you should get the same one, aunt. Oh no, this one isn't real. Yeah, that's so frustrating. Okay, time for post number 5. Right, okay, post number 5 is an update to a post that we read called Am I the a-hole for kicking out my mum's boyfriend? I'll read the first post really fast. When I was 17, my mum came into money. She tried to keep it quiet, but she paid off my dad's debts, bought him a small house, paid off her debts and paid for my sister's college, and set up a fund for mine. She had a boyfriend at the time, and shortly after him and his son, who was 7, moved into our new house. Over the next few years, Mum bought my sister a house after she graduated college. Her boyfriend lived with us and didn't pay anything, but he did work. When I was 21, Mum got diagnosed with cancer. It wasn't good. She sat me and my sister down and went over exactly how much money there was. She intended to give her current house to me, and both me and my sister were left with a large sum at the end of it. She asked if I would allow her boyfriend to stay in the house with his son until he got his own place. I agreed. Before she died, she told her boyfriend that he would need to look for his own place, but had time to save more for that journey. For the last 4 years, he continued to reside in the house with his son. I haven't minded because we got along okay. I pay all the bills, but he does buy food for him and his kid. He has dated off and on and mainly kept the women out of the house, which I respected him for, until his current partner. She's been in my house 3 times, and at first, besides feeling a little uncomfortable, I was okay with her. The last time this past weekend was the point where I lost my crap. I was making myself lunch when she came walking downstairs. She grabbed a plate and went to grab food out of my pan. I asked her what she thought she was doing. She started telling me how I should look for somewhere else to live, and leeching off my dead mum's past relationship as an adult was pathetic. Oh yeah, this one. I hollered for my mum's old boyfriend. He came down and I told him I didn't know what his current thing thought, but I wasn't going to be disrespected in my house. He wouldn't even look me in the eyes as he mumbled something about my mum promising him the house, and he was just being kind to letting me stay. First, that isn't even remotely true. Mum pulled him and I together after she asked if he could stay to set expectations. My mum met him shortly before she won the money and told him and us girls that she had no intention of leaving him money. She did set aside a fund for his son for college when he gets there, but he can't touch it. Only his son can. He's lived in this house for nearly 8 years without paying a dime. He should have plenty of money, and if he doesn't, that's on him. I told him that he had 30 days to leave. I wasn't going to house somebody who was going to lie and disrespect me in my house. He left that night with his son, but his ex-wife called to tell me that I'm cruel and that I'm an a-hole for her son losing his house. He's here every other week. I really feel like my mum didn't expect him to still be here, but my sister said that she feels like I'm breaking my promise to my mum, and that made me feel like maybe I am the a-hole. Yeah, I forgot how frustrating this post is. Okay, so actually there are 2 updates. Update number 1. Update, am I the a-hole for kicking out my mum's boyfriend? I know the other subreddit is very subjective on updates, so I figured I'd post it here. I do want to take a moment to address some things that I saw in the comments. Number 1, there are trusts set up and neither me nor my sister have full access to the money left to us. This was done both because my sister and I were in our early 20s when my mum died, and she wanted to make sure that we had some stability before we could access it, and to protect us from people who may try to take advantage, especially while we were grieving. Number 2, I have a lawyer. He's already informed me legally to my area what eviction laws are, and my mum's old boyfriend will be served with formal eviction papers just to cover myself even after today. So the update, my dad came over, decided not to have my boyfriend over since he doesn't know about the money side, and I wasn't trying to have the boyfriend out the situation. Yeah, so my dad came over this morning and brought along my cousin. For easier telling, I'm going to call my mum's former boyfriend C. C showed up about 10 a.m. my time and talked to my dad, and then asked if he could have a couple of minutes alone with me. Dad nodded, so my cousin and him went into the kitchen, and C and I sat in a living room. I'll be honest, I didn't expect it to go as it had, but I'm glad it did. C started with an apology. I don't remember all the words said, but the basics were that he missed my mum, he's been lonely but not alone thanks to me and his son, he was sorry for what had happened, and that he got caught up in lust and let somebody else fill his head with ideas, and that he owned up to his mistakes and should have never put up with somebody who would disrespect me or my mum's memory. He tried to hand me a cashier's check for $15,000. He said it wasn't much, but he wanted me to know that he appreciated me and living with me, and that he wanted to pay back some of what he owed. I refused the check, both in part because I never wanted his money, but I also don't want to give any possible legal leg for him to stand on if this is somehow him trying to stay. I told him the first part, and I told him to put it towards a house. He told me that he's living with his sister, but is going to look at houses with a realtor next week. He did say that his son's asking about our next hangout date, and said both me and my sister are welcome to arrange time with him. After all of that, my dad and cousin helped him get all of the stuff out of the house that he owned. He had brought a U-Haul, and he gave me back my house keys. He apologized again, and he left. Not what I expected, but it went really well, and I feel a lot less like I let my mum down. Okay, that's a good update. Update number 2. This is probably going to be my last update unless something unexpected happens, but I thought I'd give a quick update on C. So C called me last week and again yesterday. He put an offer on a house and yesterday got accepted. They expected close date is early next month, but I'm very proud of him. I know everybody expected more drama, and to be honest, some of the comments had me worried, but it's been really good. He thanked me a lot for letting him have so much time here, offered me some money one more time for his time here, which I again declined, but I did offer to help him move in when the time comes. Moving sucks. He put down almost half for a down payment, so he definitely was saving money during his time here, and I'm glad everything that happened was an encouragement for him to get into a home of his own. I talked to his son yesterday after he got out of school. We were going to play laser tag this weekend with my sister, and he's excited for the new house too. Yeah, like the top comment says, I'm so glad it all worked out. Yeah, for sure. The comment below that says, it sounds like things turned out better than expected. I'm glad to hear that Say found a new home and his son gets to enjoy it too. And don't worry, we love drama, but we also love happy endings. Yeah, I'm kind of surprised that he's acting so maturely after the first post that we read, but yeah, that's awesome. Moving on to post number 6. Am I the a-hole for telling my deadbeat dad that I don't care about him or his family in front of his kids? My dad abandoned me when I 16 male was 2. I don't remember him being my dad or as a person really, but I do remember what it was like without him and how crappy life was when he was dodging child support. The only reason that he started paying it was because his license got suspended and he was screwed without it. I think I was 7 when we started getting that money, and he had to pay the backdated stuff too. When I was 10, I had to go for a DNA test because he questioned whether I was really his or not. At the time, we had no idea why, just that I had to go for the test. Found out after that it was because he'd gotten married and had a couple of kids, and he wanted to focus his resources on them and not on me. He tried to get the child support reduced and even tried to stop paying again, but the consequences would have been way more harsh if he'd continued, so he started paying again. 2 years ago, he moved back here with his family. He ignored me and I ignored him. His wife approached me and my mum a couple of times, but she wasn't somebody either of us wanted to talk to, so we didn't. I saw him with his kids a few times, mainly when I was walking by the elementary school, or if I went to the mall with my friends. He's playing the role of good dad to them right now, or that's how it looked anyway. Does it bother me? Kinda. Like, I think it's crappy that he moved back here instead of staying the hell away from me when he abandoned me over and over again. I'm in therapy and I don't ever want a relationship with him or any of his family, and that includes his kids. That's something that therapy has helped me to fully realize and work on. I won't be an a-hole to his kids if they approach me, but I'm not going to give a relationship any chance. I'm an only child in my heart, and that's not about to change unless my mum had more kids. The current thing is something that I don't have all the details on, but his kids also found out that I'm also his kid. They wanted to know me. He tried to downplay it as he just found out, and he wasn't sure if I'd be in their family, but they keep on talking about it. His in-laws are coming into town in a couple of weeks, and him and his wife know the kids are going to mention me. His in-laws won't like the fact that he abandoned his kid, and he used a different word, but he abandoned me, so I'll use that. And he wanted me to come to dinner at his house and act like we all just found out. Wow, the audacity. He said that he can deal with what the kids want after, but he doesn't want the in-laws to know. Too bad, dude. He came up to me in the mall to ask me to do that, and I told him no, and I started walking away. He had his kids with him. I need to mention that. I didn't interact with them, and I hardly interacted with him. Like I said, I was walking away, and then he told me that I owed him that much, and he was paying for me, which is more than most dads like him do. Oh my god. He said that I could do him and his family this one thing. I told him I don't care about him or his family, and I told him to leave me alone, like he has been for the last 14 years. Then I moved even faster so he couldn't keep saying crap to annoy me. When his wife found out about it, she went to my mum at work. My mum works in a popular store in town, and she'd seen his wife in there a lot. His wife told my mum that she needed to teach me to react better in front of kids, and I didn't need to be cruel. Wow. My mum was pissed about the encounter and told me that I did nothing wrong, but I guess I do feel kind of bad for saying it to the kids. Not that I want to seek them out and apologize or anything, because I don't want to engage at all, but am I the a-hole? Yeah, the top comment, not the a-hole. He brought the kids with him on purpose to use as leverage, so it's on him, not you. You tried to walk away and not involve the kids, but he wouldn't let you. Good for you for staying strong. Yeah, and the response to that says he used the kids as pawns. His actions, his responsibility. You tried to avoid involving them. OP did the right thing. And the one below that says he definitely tried to manipulate the situation for his benefit. It's unfair to expect OP to be the bigger person when he's the one who neglected his responsibilities. OP shouldn't feel guilty for standing up for himself. The second top comment says not the a-hole. You said what anybody with half a brain could have expected you to say when he put you in the position to respond to his weird-ass demands in front of his kids. Yeah, the comment below that one. I think you should go and tell the in-laws, say hello and tell them that he's a deadbeat and he abandoned and neglected you for 14 years and you're only here because he demanded you to be there to make him look good, and then turn to him and tell him that he's a pathetic excuse of a human being and there couldn't be a worse father, and then leave. And the comment to that one says full nuclear. I endorse this, but I feel like it will do more damage than good for OP. Yeah, I can't believe the audacity of OP's dad. Like, how terrible can you get? This comment says not the a-hole. It was inappropriate for him to seek you out in the mall with his kids. He's a piece of work to think that you owe him anything. Yeah, for sure. I'm sorry that your dad's a loser. Don't let that reflect on you. You did nothing wrong. He's just a horrible excuse for a human being. I also had a crappy father who tried to build bridges. It was way too late. He was just a stranger to me. Your mum sounds awesome. Okay, moving on to post number 7. Am I the a-hole for telling my husband that it's too late to save our marriage? My husband and I met 5 years years ago. He lost his first wife the previous year and he was struggling with 2 kids who were 4 and 2 then. Currently they're 9 and 7. It wasn't the parenting that he was struggling with, but he admitted that he was lonely and missed having somebody there. We dated casually for a few months and then more seriously. I was introduced to his kids after we'd been serious for 7 months and things were going well there. When the family of his first wife learnt that I was around the kids, there were some rumbles. My husband told me that it would blow over and that it was difficult for them to hear that the kids were bonding with another woman. It wasn't until after we got married 2 years ago when I started to feel like it wasn't going to blow over. The kids were acting out with me far more. We didn't have any real issues before. Sure, they were kids and they didn't always listen, but it felt pretty evenly dispersed between my husband and myself when it came to the not listening. But it was pretty obvious after a point that it was now happening to me far more than my husband. Things were only really starting to get more noticeable to me when I learned that I was pregnant. My husband was thrilled, but the kids weren't. Everybody told me that it'd take a while for them to get used to another baby joining the family, to give it time. My husband and I talked about my concerns and he told me that he'd be on the lookout for anything, but he didn't. He was dismissive the next time I brought the topic up. Then he started dropping the rope and expecting me to do more. The kids saw their mum's family once every 2 weeks. My husband used to drop them off, but then he expected me to do it, and I was met with a very icy reception and hostile remarks if I asked the kids to be careful or anything like that. I told my husband and he shrugged it off. The kids started saying the whole "you're not our mum" thing to me. They told me that I couldn't tell them what to do. My husband heard them say it and he'd say nothing, and when I did, they got even more angry. One time while I was pregnant, I asked if they'd carry their dirty dishes so that I could wash up, and they said no, and they didn't have to listen to me. I told them that I was the adult in charge, so they did, and it was a simple request and one that I knew they were capable of. They told me their real mum's family said that they didn't have to, and that I was a stupid bitch who was trying to take them away. I tried to sit down and explain that I didn't want to take them away from anybody or upset anybody, but that I was another person who loved them. But the kids stormed off in a tantrum. My husband didn't care when I told him about it. When our son was born, it didn't really get any better. I told him that we needed marriage therapy and family counseling, and he needed to hear me or our marriage wouldn't survive, but he didn't make the time for it. He told me things would get better once the kids settled. He was still leaving it all up to me, and anytime I called the grandparents to come and pick them up because I couldn't drop them off, it was like I was their enemy. The kids behaved even worse after visiting them. I was told by a friend who'd lost a parent young and gained a step-parent afterwards that intervening myself would only make them resent me even more and would probably end any chance to improve the relationship. She said that if my husband wasn't going to step up, then I needed to leave. She said there was a good chance that my son would grow up in a very unhappy home if nothing changed, and that I'd be miserable more than I am now if I stayed. I tried to make it work. I tried to have another talk with my stepkids. I tried to insist on marriage counseling again. I got nowhere and it was still getting worse. To add to it, the kids reject their baby brother. There was no magical baby winning them over, like others had mentioned. Not that I really believed in that, but I also wanted to think that it could happen. I also wanted to believe that things could get better. But without my husband on my side, I know it won't. I reached the end of the line after Christmas and I packed up mine and my son's things and I went to my parents' house. I filed for divorce the next day. My husband didn't seem to believe that I'd follow through with it, but after a couple of weeks he started saying all the right things and promised that he'd do better. I told him that he was too late with all of that. He said that we built a family and that the kids couldn't lose another mum. Even his parents, who never paid much attention to me, reached out and told me that I couldn't do this to the kids and we needed to make it work, that it's never too late when kids are involved. So am I the a-hole? Yeah, the top comment, not the a-hole. You tried for years. And he turned a deaf eye and ear to all the bad behavior. He never ran interference or established any boundaries when it was obvious that his previous wife's family were bad-mouthing you and telling the kids to mistreat you. The kids aren't losing another mother because he and the family of the first wife made sure that you weren't in that role. He only realized how bad it was when you left. He won't change, and I have no doubts that he'll move on quickly and find another woman to take care of stuff. I wish you and your son luck, OP, and a happier life that you both deserve. And OP said thank you. I hope my son and I can have a happy little life now that we're out of the house. I feel guilty that I let him be born into that mess to begin with, but I'll do everything I can to make him enjoy the life that we can have. And the second top comment says, not the a-hole. You tried for years, communicated your needs clearly, and your husband consistently failed to act. His sudden change of heart is convenient, but it doesn't erase his years of neglect and the toxic environment that he allowed to fester. You did what you had to protect yourself and your son. His family's pleas are also out of line. They ignored you for years and now they want you to sacrifice your happiness for their convenience. You deserve better. And moving on to post number 8. Am I the gay-hole for blowing up at my sick husband when he was asking for help with our toddler? I plan on sending this post to my husband once the verdict is in, whichever way it goes, so I will add as much of his perspective as I can. Our toddler was sick through the weekend. I was up with him one night from 12:15 to 2:45 and off and on the next night. I probably got 10 to 12 hours of broken sleep the whole weekend. Yesterday my husband mentioned that he was starting to feel a little sick. Last night I went to bed early hoping to to catch up on rest. All during the night, my husband woke me up way more often than my toddler does, even on a bad night. Some of the times were not directly his fault, but other times I felt like he was being inconsiderate. Number 1, he snored loudly in my ear. Number 2, he was asking for another blanket because he had the chills. I told him that it was at the foot of the bed. He asked me for help and reminded me that he helps me when I'm sick and that he would still do the morning routine with our son. He had a nightmare I had to shake him awake from, in brackets normal. He whispered to Alexa asking for the time. He was asking for another blanket. I gave him mine. He made a phone call in bed? No. And left a full voicemail to his work to let him know that he'd need to take a sick day. At 5:30 in the morning, he woke me up to ask if I could do the wake up routine with our son. I do bedtime and he does wake up. At this point, I blew up. I expressed how mad I was that he woke me up all night long, and now I have to wake up early to do what he said that he'd still do, and I don't get to stay home and catch up on sleep. He said that I was in the wrong. Hey bro, hold on a second. You made a phone call in bed while your partner was trying to sleep next to you. You're in the wrong, dude. He said that I was in the wrong because marriage is in sickness and in health. I immediately got up to get ready. He said that I didn't have to start getting ready so early. I said yes I did because I start work at 7:30. I barely make it to work on time when I wake up at 6, and now I have to unexpectedly skip my shower and get my toddler ready, get his food ready for the day and feed him breakfast and drop him off at daycare, and then take myself to work. I said that he was a grown man with a cold and he robbed me of the rest I needed, and that I'll be sleeping on the couch tonight. At that point I asked for space and we haven't talked since. I was late for work, which is a big deal at my job. I might be the a-hole for blowing up at my husband when he was asking for support during an unexpected illness. Am I the a-hole for being mad at my sick husband? The top comment says not the a-hole. It's one thing if you slept all night and he was up all night sick and he woke you up and asked you to handle the morning routine. It's another when he's willfully kept you awake, waking you up for extra blankets, asking Alexa the time, and making a loud phone call is absolutely willful behavior from him. Your angry feelings are valid. If it's a one-time thing when he's better, circle back and have a discussion. If this is his typical man flu or cold behavior, he needs to stop it. Sleep deprivation is cruel. The comment below that one says not the a-hole 100%. How do you wake someone up to get a blanket at the foot of the bed and start making phone calls in bed when somebody's sleeping? I mean, that's just rude. If he doesn't know where the blankets are in the home, why does he not live there? The comment below that says asking Alexa what time it is knowing his phone is right there gets me a lot more than the blankets, I think. It feels like he's mad that he's sick and taking it out on her. I'm curious if that's their normal dynamic or what. Yeah, and the making the phone call in bed is so unacceptable. Like, what do you mean? Get up, dude. Like, oh, hey boss, I can't come in today. Right next to your partner who's trying to sleep. Yeah, that's enough for today. We need to read something wholesome. I've got 2 wholesome memes to read today. It is self-love o'clock. You best be knowing how loved you are and how important you are. Oh, that's so cute. Little fluffy ducky with a butter knife. That's adorable. And also intimidating in a cute sort of way. But yeah, that is so right. You best be knowing how loved and important you are. And this one too. I feel like there's an intruder. I can't say it. They all look the same. Bear, 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 bear. So cute. I love cats so much. Thank you for watching, guys. I hope you had a great time today. And if you did, make sure you let me know down below in the comment section. And also like and subscribe if you want to. And the comment of the day today goes to Juju Aplenty. Simpsons reference. It feels like I haven't heard one of those in a while. I love it. Yeah, I couldn't believe it either. I was like, oh my god, wait a second. What was that thing that I used to do? A Simpsons reference. I know a moment from The Simpsons that I can reference to this. Yeah, I need to do that so much more. Thank you for the comment and thank you for the support. And thank you all for the support, everybody. I'll see you next time. Make sure you look after yourself and make sure you have a beautiful, amazing rest of your day. And I'll see you in the next episode. Bye!